If you haven't heard of Stray by now, you've been living under a rock. This game has taken the internet by storm since release, and for good reason. You get to play as a cat. And even better, you get to play as a cat to explore a weird, futuristic, robot-inhabited world. Today, we're going to take a critical look at the game and figure out if Stray is nothing short of perfection or merely a glorified hairball. Development for Stray dates as far back as 2015, with the development studio Blue 12 officially being formed in 2016. The developers were inspired to make the game's protagonist a cat by their own pet cats. They even used a multitude of live cats to nail down the animations in this game. Stray was showcased for the first time at Sony's 2020 Future of Gaming Showcase and released on July 19th, 2022. The game starts off with 4 cats hiding out in an abandoned tunnel. You're immediately prompted to walk over to your cat companions and interact with them by doing regular cat things. You must do this to progress, which is something that I loved about this section. Once you awake from your nap, it's time to move. Following your fellow felines throughout the treacherous obstacle course showcases how precisely the developers nailed every single cat movement and mannerism. Along the path, you're prompted to interact with all kinds of different objects for absolutely no reason, just because you want to. Whether you're scratching a tree, lapping up water, pressing the designated meow button for the 1000th time, or just nuzzling up to something, none of it ever gets old. You attempt to jump across a gap onto a pipe that has been loosened by your friends, but it's not strong enough to hold you. You plummet into a gaping hole in the ground and land in a strange, unfamiliar world. If you haven't noticed already from the background footage, the attention to detail in the environments is incredible in Stray. Every area is rich with style and texture. Each section of the game ties in nicely with the last, creating a strong sense of cohesion, which is always what you want in a game like this. The format of this game is what I'd call open zone, meaning parts of the world that are sectioned off, but allow complete freedom within those zones. It always feels like there's so many little things to see within each area, but at the same time it never feels overwhelming. After making your way through the sewers, you enter the main town that is populated by robots. You find a lab that contains a tiny little robot named B12 that you must help to repower. B12 in turn offers his help to bring you back up to the surface. He recalls previously helping a human scientist do something, but his memory was almost entirely corrupted and you must help him regain it. This is where the game truly begins. Upon entering the robot city, you discover that the robot civilization is trapped underground. They once served a population of humans that have since gone extinct, but the robots continue to live. You're tasked with exploring the world to find clues and tools to help aid you on your journey to the outside. Along the way, you'll explore different parts of this mysterious cyberpunk-themed city, meet many different charming residents, and uncover the chilling story of the town. Stray's main methods of progression are platforming, exploration, and light puzzle solving. You use these 3 ways of interacting with the world around you as a means to find items and complete tasks for the robots that move the story along. While these are all fun methods of progression, none of them ever get very complex, particularly puzzle solving. Part of the reason for this is that in most of the puzzles, you're interacting with the same objects. After about 2 times of using a barrel on its side to roll into an area they need to jump to, you pretty much just always know what to do. Anytime you see a large fan spinning, you know that you have to find a way to stop it so you can walk through. These puzzles are rarely more complex than move this object over here so something happens. The one exception is the puzzle where you must get the robot Blazer a Neocorp worker jacket and helmet. I personally didn't have much of a hard time figuring this one out because I had already done some poking around in the world and found out where the stores are, and I had already gotten the music cassette before I made it to this section. It reminded me of something you do in a 3D Zelda game to progress, which is something that I really liked about it. There's another puzzle somewhat similar to this one, where you need to find a blanket for a cold robot in order for him to repair your tracker, your only hope of locating a doctor robot. A grandma offers to knit you a poncho if you can find her some electric rope, but in order to get the rope, you need to exchange a bottle of detergent. This didn't really feel like a puzzle to me, more of just a quest. Apart from these 2 instances, this game doesn't really ask too much from you. The soundtrack for this game is truly something special. All of the songs contribute to the moodiness of this game's location wonderfully. Every single one of your senses are informed of the fact that you're in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk city. The music helps to further drive exploration and instills a sense of curiosity within the player. I especially love the music that first plays in the library on the rooftops. Take a listen. Even though this game may present itself as a cute, silly cat game, there are some real emotional story moments on display here. Seamus being reunited with his dad was a touching moment. I love how Seamus blankly stares at his father at first, not knowing how to process his emotions before his dad grabs him in for a hug. Who knew robots could showcase such emotions? B12 coming to the realization that he was actually the human he thought he had helped to become a robot this whole time was another emotional moment. He even goes as far as to stop translating other robots' speech for a brief minute to process everything. Stray did not need to go this far at all, but any effort to make a game story more compelling is always welcome. Stray may be a flawed game, but the flaws hardly make the romp a bad experience. Its world is incredible. The short length allows for infinite replays, and the joy of playing as a cat never fades. It is incredible what a small team of developers has been able to achieve with this game, and I cannot wait to see Blue 12 Studios' next endeavor.